everyone, I am Yuan Bado Canabe. I am 7 years old. I live in Anopol, Polangui, Albay. At the same time, I am a grade 1 student from Anopol Elementary School. I will read a story. I know all of you know Pinocchio. Once upon a time, there was an ordinary sculptor named Geppetto. He desperately longed for a son, so he decided to make a wooden puppet. His wish was overheard by a fairy, and she fulfilled his desire. The puppet was given life by the fairy. He called the puppet Pinocchio. But Pinocchio became naughty. One day, he kicked Geppetto suddenly and ran out on the street, so that a policeman could see Geppetto chasing him. The policeman thought Pinocchio was being hurt, so Geppetto was put in jail. Pinocchio returned to the house after eating. He sat beside the fire. When Geppetto returned home, he saw Pinocchio sleeping near the fire, and his feet were already burning. Even though Pinocchio was at fault, Geppetto fixed his feet. He was advised his son Pinocchio to go to school, just like an ordinary child. Pinocchio promised to be a good student in school. On his way to school, he heard some beautiful music. He started to look for the source from where it was coming. Pinocchio found the source of the soothing music. It was from a puppeteer who had put a show near the school. Pinocchio was amazed with the stage and all. He decided to take part in the show, but that was a mistake. As he got entangled in the wires of the puppet, the puppeteer became very angry with him and threatened to throw Pinocchio into the fire. Pinocchio begged the puppeteer to spare him. "In that case, I will put this puppet into the fire." "Don't, please," shouted Pinocchio. "He hasn't done anything wrong." Hearing this, the puppeteer's heart melted, and he felt pity for Pinocchio, and for his bravery, he gifted Pinocchio a golden coin. Unfortunately, this was seen by two thieves. On his way home, Pinocchio encountered these two men. They tried to force Pinocchio to give them the golden coin, but Pinocchio was smart. He had hid the golden coin in his shoes, and the man could not steal it. In a fit of rage, they tied Pinocchio to a big tree and went away. Suddenly, the fairy appeared and saved Pinocchio. She asked him where the golden coin was. He lied and said it was already gone. As soon as he lied, his nose grew longer and longer. The fairy laughed loudly and said, "This will happen to you every time you lie, Pinocchio." "I promise to be good. Please forgive me," pleaded Pinocchio. The fairy called a bird to peck his nose, so as to bring it back to its original size. He promised not to lie anymore. and he went back home. On his way home, he met a naughty boy who told him about a place called Toyland. There are no schools. There are no rules to follow, and the trees there were curtains. Pinocchio went there and had a happy and enjoyable time. He played throughout the whole day, neglected his chores and obligations, and gradually they started looking like donkeys. Because of his appearance, he was captured by some people and sold to the circus. There he was, forced to perform and show his talents. But when he fell down and injured himself, the owner dumped him in the sea. While Pinocchio was in the sea, the magic spell was broken and he became puppet again. And he started drifting in the sea. He regretted everything he had done, and he was afraid too then. Suddenly, he was swallowed by a giant fish. He could not do anything, as it was very dark. After a while, Pinocchio saw a glimmer of light in the belly of the fish. "This is a miracle!" shouted Pinocchio, as he realized that the fire was made by Geppetto, who was also swallowed by the fish when he was out sailing the seas, searching for Pinocchio. They hugged each other happily, and Geppetto, "How can we get out of here?" he cried. "Don't worry, Father. We can still think of a way to get out of here," said Pinocchio. "Let us make a big fire and see what will happen." They made a huge fire until the smoke caused the fish to sneeze, and by the force were vomited out by the fish. The fairy was waiting for them at the seashore. She thanked Pinocchio for saving Geppetto's life and gave him a reward. With a snap of her fingers, Pinocchio transformed into a real boy. Since then, they live happily like real father. The story Pinocchio teaches us the love lesson of should never tell lies and should not disobey our elders. Thank you for listening, guys. Goodbye.